UFC 264, it's in the books. Let me tell you something. This was a very, very unique event. Okay, let's just put it that way. Uh, I mean, you could start with Sugar Sean O'Malley, that TKO against Chris Matino, but we got to give Chris Matino a lot of credit. He got hit with everything but the kitchen sink and kept coming forward. I believe it was like the first round, like towards the end of the first round. I believe it was the first round. Chris Matino got knocked down, and it looked like it was going to be a TKO stoppage, and Sean O'Malley was going to win then. But the bell saved him, and Chris Matino just kept coming forward. He got hit with everything but the kitchen sink. Just kept coming forward, just kept fighting. He didn't let up a single inch. So I got to give him a lot of credit. And the fight was stopped while Chris Matino was on his feet. So overall, I got to give Chris Matino a lot of credit. He showed a lot of heart, and he became a fan favorite during that fight. Now, going to Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Thompson. First of all, Gilbert Burns got an insanely good win off of Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He absolutely showed a dominant win, a bounce back win after losing to Kamaru Usman. He proved that he is the number two ranked welterweight in that division. So I got to give him a lot of credit as well. As for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, I got to give him a lot of credit as well. He didn't give up. There were times where he was on the ground and Gilbert Burns was hitting him with some hard shots on that ground, while he was trying to get up. And Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he didn't give up. He got back up. And he just kept fighting. So I got to give Stephen Wonderboy a lot of credit too. He wasn't in the fetal position. He wasn't just covering up, doing nothing. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson was actually fighting and trying to get back up. So I got to give him a lot of credit. He showed no quit. Tai Tuivasa. Let me tell you something. Tai Tuivasa, he ended up getting a first round knockout against Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy clipped him, rocked him, was coming in for the kill, and Tai Tuivasa ended up knocking him down and TKOing him too. And Tai Tuivasa, after that fight, this man was drinking out of shoes and everything like that. He's drinking alcohol out of shoes. I was like, this man's a complete psycho. But yeah, this dude was drinking out of shoes. I swear he had like 4 different drinks out of 4 different shoes. I think one of them was Dustin Poirier's hot sauce, and he didn't like the taste of that too well. I'm just saying, Tai Tuivasa was a psycho after that win, but congratulations to him. He absolutely had a great fight. Now let's get to the main event. Dustin Poirier defeated Conor McGregor by the end of the first round by TKO or doctor stoppage. So I'm going to read the stats. So Dustin Poirier, out of total strikes, he landed 36 out of 66, which is a percentage of 54.5%. Conor McGregor landed 43 out of 54, which is a percentage of 79.6%. Significant strikes. All the strikes that Dustin Poirier thrown and landed, that was his significant strike. So it's the same as the total strikes. As for Conor McGregor landed 27 out of 38, which is a percentage of 71%. Dustin Poirier attempted 2 takedowns, got 1. Conor McGregor attempted none, so he had no takedowns. And submission attempts, Conor McGregor had 1 opposed to Dustin Poirier 0. So let me get to this fight, okay? First of all, when this fight started, Conor McGregor was coming out there swinging, kicks, hooks, whatever it might be. He was coming out there, swinging. He really wanted to get this guy out in the first round. Dustin Poirier, I felt, was more composed in that first round, He waited. He picked his shots pretty well. Clipped Conor a couple times standing. And there was one point where these two, Conor ended up coming in and grabbing Dustin Poirier. It looked like a clinch to me. And Dustin Poirier turned it around and got Conor on the fence. Now, in my prediction, I did say the prediction was it was going to go to full 5 rounds. Conor was going to win by decision. But I also said that the reason why I believe that is because I think Conor was going to be ready for Dustin's wrestling, which he was. Okay, because when Dustin tried to attempt that takedown, Conor McGregor did a good job of, holding his own. He even got him in a guillotine at that. And the other thing I said was he was going to be ready for them leg kicks. Now, really, you didn't see a lot of them. I think I seen probably like 1 or 2 from Dustin Poirier that was thrown. But Conor was throwing some of his own, throwing some of his own kicks. And one of them, it just didn't land cleanly. And that probably was originated from his ankle or whatever the case might be. But overall, I think Conor was prepared for that wrestling. I just didn't think he was prepared for that ground and pound that Dustin Poirier was giving him. I mean, Dustin Poirier was landing some hard shots on Conor McGregor. Now, when he got him on the fence, Conor attempted a guillotine and he took him down. Now, it looked like a tight guillotine, but it wasn't complete. The guillotine was not complete. He didn't get that other arm in there. And Dustin Poirier said it. He said, Conor McGregor may have money. He may have, again, he's a strong fighter. He's a very good fighter. He might have money. He might have the celebrity status. But there's one thing that you can't teach, and that's heart. And that's something I have. And he proved it right there. He was in that guillotine. And some guys would have tapped out right there, but Dustin Poirier didn't do that. Dustin Poirier fought his way out of that guillotine, and he landed Conor McGregor with some hard ground and pound punches. But Conor McGregor didn't quit neither. Like he wasn't like all wrapped up in a fetal position, a guard. Conor McGregor in that first round, he was actually kicking. There was one kick, I think it landed really hard on Dustin Poirier, got him right in the chin. I think it was a very hard kick. He was fighting. Conor McGregor was fighting. He wasn't gonna let. He tried so hard not to make sure that ended in that first round. And then the referee ended up letting them back up, or he ended up separating them, and they got back up. And then Conor McGregor ended up. His ankle ended up going the wrong way. Conor McGregor fell, and at that point, there's really nothing you can do but cover up. It was the end of the round, so he survived it. But after that, his ankle, he couldn't compete on that no more, and they ended up giving the win to Dustin Poirier by Dr. Stoppage, TKO. But let me explain something, okay? If I learned anything from this fight, I learned that, Dustin Poirier has proved that he has heart, and he proved that he is, and again, he proved that he has no quits in him, and he was able to fight through it, and he also proved that he is a very, very, again, he proved once again that he can go toe-to-toe with Conor McGregor standing. And if there's one thing that Conor McGregor proved in this fight, I think it was the fact that Conor McGregor, I think starting off quick, I think it proved that it was a lot different from the second fight. The second fight, he was in more of a boxing stance. This fight, he was more into an MMA stance. And again, we don't know what would happen, we just don't know. Okay, you can't say, oh, it doesn't matter, Dustin Poirier is going to win anyway. You can't say that because you just don't know. The second, third, fourth, and fifth round never happened. So you can't prove any of that. If Conor McGregor doesn't break his ankle, he could end up winning that fight. Maybe Dustin Poirier knocks him out in the second round, third round, fourth round, fifth round. Maybe Conor does the same thing. We just don't know. Okay, but the one thing, I just don't think this is over. I don't think you can end off of this. You cannot end a trilogy on this. You have to have a fourth fight, in my opinion. Okay, because you just don't know what could have happened. Okay, it's different than like the Jorge Masvidal Nate Diaz situation where Nate Diaz's eye is bloody to the point where like the doctor stopped the fight. This is off of an ankle. This ankle wasn't broken off of something that Dustin Poirier did. Okay, necessarily. Okay, Conor McGregor landed on it the wrong way. Now, according to Dustin Poirier, he said he checked one of the kicks. And according to Conor McGregor, it didn't happen. I seen the kick that Dustin Poirier was referring to. Let's just put it this way: that kick it landed cleanly, but he didn't throw it the way that he should have. When you kick someone, okay, your shin, all right. In other words, your foot is not so like your foot can hit them, but in other cases that could be dangerous because if your foot goes the wrong way, something bad can end up happening in Exhibit A with Conor McGregor and his ankle. Okay. I just don't think it landed cleanly, but I just don't think it was thrown. I just don't think it was thrown the proper way in order for his ankle to stay, stable. But overall, I look at that fight, and again, Dustin Poirier, I think he definitely won that first round. I definitely give that first round to Dustin Poirier because I think that ground and pound and him controlling the ground, I think that definitely really gave him that first round. But you don't know what would have happened in the second, third, fourth, or fifth round if they would have continued. You just don't know what would have happened, But overall, I did not expect that fight to end that way. In my prediction, I said that I thought this fight was going to go 5 rounds, and I thought Conor was going to win by decision. Okay, I said if there was any way Dustin was going to win, he had to finish him. And technically he did, but this was not the way that I thought Dustin was going to finish him. None of us, expected Conor to break his ankle and the fight was going to be stopped by a doctor. None of us expected that, If you did, and you really are a modern day Nostradamus, because none of us could have expected that. Now, at the end of the fight, they gave Dustin Poirier the win. Bruce Buffer declared him the winner, and Dustin Poirier did that like Conor McGregor strut towards Conor McGregor, and it shows that they just don't like each other. Now, Conor McGregor, he didn't have too nice words to say about Dustin Poirier, and as a matter of fact, I think they were pretty disturbing. Me personally, trash talk is one thing, and there's no holds bars in trash talk. I understand that. Dustin Poirier even said that. But when you're talking about like killing a man, he said that too. He said, I'm not okay with that. He said all the comments about my wife and everything like that. He said, that didn't bother me. It was the fact that he was threatening to kill me. You just don't do that. You don't wish that upon nobody. And Conor McGregor at the end of that fight during the interview with Joe Rogan, he started saying some things about his wife that I just don't agree with, So But overall, I do wish Conor McGregor a speedy recovery. He said that he's going to be on crutches for 6 weeks, and then after that, it's back to work. Personally, I don't think right after that he should go right to Dustin Poirier. They might give him that, because he's Conor McGregor. I think Conor McGregor needs to settle the score with Nate Diaz first. I think you need to make that fight first. I think you need to finish that trilogy before you end up getting into that fourth fight with Dustin Poirier. And I don't think there has ever been a fourth fight in UFC history between two different men. I don't think two men ever fought 4 times. I could be wrong. You guys can look that up for me, but I don't think it ever happened. I think the closest thing that has happened was a third fight. But we might be getting a fourth fight, with Dustin Poirier. You never know. I think that the Nate Diaz trilogy should end first. I think that'll bring in a lot more money than the Dustin Poirier fight, considering the fact that Nate Diaz is beloved by the whole MMA universe. Conor McGregor is obviously the biggest superstar in MMA. So I think definitely for a fact that fight should happen first. But overall, if I learned anything, Dustin proved that he has heart. Again, because it's one thing to go to show your chin. It's one thing to just keep on swinging and swinging and swinging, in the middle of the octagon. It's another thing to be put in a place of danger like that guillotine that Conor had him in, and Dustin Poirier fighting out of it. That's one thing right there. Dustin Poirier fought out of that guillotine, and he ended up continuing. He ended up taking control in that first round. And again, we don't know what would have happened. A lot of people would have been like, "That's ridiculous." Dustin Poirier would have definitely won it, and that possibly could be the case. But don't say that Conor McGregor didn't have a chance at winning if that would have gone to the second round and he didn't break his ankle. You just never know. But overall, I do wish Conor McGregor a speedy recovery. I really do. You hate to see that happen to any fighter, with their ankle. We recently we've seen it with Chris Weidman. So you just don't want to see that happen to anybody, You really don't. As for Dustin Poirier, congratulations on the win. I definitely think he won that first round. I definitely think after being in danger in that guillotine, I definitely think he came out of it and he ended up controlling the rest of that first round. So credit to Dustin Poirier. He is definitely getting that UFC lightweight championship opportunity, or that match against Charles Oliveira. And Charles Oliveira is a very unorthodox fighter, and me and Nate, we will give our predictions on that when that fight comes. But overall, I think this was a very, very unique UFC event. I think it was definitely one of the most unique ones because we didn't expect Chris Matino to go as far as he did. We didn't expect Conor McGregor, that fight to end by an ankle injury. We didn't expect any of that, but overall, to Dustin Poirier, congratulations on the win. Best of luck to him in the championship fight against Charles Oliveira. As for Conor McGregor, I'm wishing him a speedy recovery. I really am, a full recovery at that too. And I can't wait to see them both fight again. And I'll pass it on to you, Nate.
First of all, before I say anything, I'm hoping for Conor McGregor a speedy recovery. I was really rooting for him, like I always do, because I am half Irish, and Conor McGregor is the embodiment of Ireland, so I have to rep my guy. But I look at this fight, Mario, and Conor McGregor, like you mentioned, he was going ham. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to get this guy out in the first round. Dustin Poirier was being patient. And honestly, I talk about this a lot in boxing. How the first couple of rounds can be a bit boring because they're kind of like studying each other. Anticipating the next move. Like I feel like Dustin Poirier is being smart with that. Waiting for a strike, seeing what he's going up against. And obviously he's already fought him twice, so he knows what he's going up against. But again, he's saving his energy for the big stuff, But obviously he didn't have to because Conor McGregor ended up breaking his ankle. And honestly, Mario, I'm kind of bummed out the way the fight ended, and we all are, because we really wanted to see a lot out of this fight. And I'm not blaming this on Conor by no means. Obviously, we can't anticipate when injuries happen. They just happen, and you have to deal with it. You know what I mean? It's a part of sports, and that's just that. But I'm just really bummed out the way it ended. It was looking to be a really good fight. Round one was very, very entertaining, like it usually is with Conor McGregor. It's just unfortunate the way it ended. Now I look at this, okay, Mario. And I know they've already talked about, Conor McGregor's taking jab Dustin Poirier about how he can celebrate this fight in the way, but he doesn't count it the way it ended. Now that's your opinion. If you count that loss, that's your opinion. It doesn't matter. Personally, if he goes down and he lost, that's just how it is. And I'm kind of bummed out that that's how it ended, but so are we all. But I look at this and I'm expecting a fourth fight. At this point, a fourth fight is bound to happen. And I'm not sure if they've already talked about it or not, or if they had mentions of it. But the way the third fight ended with Conor getting injured, there's in my mind, without a doubt, there will be a fourth fight to kind of make up for that ending. And honestly, I'm gonna be real. I think it's necessary. Like I don't even think it's on. I don't think it's a want. I think it's a need because the third fight was supposed to cap off everything. These two guys, and obviously that wasn't the case, because obviously with Conor McGregor's injury. So honestly, I expect the fourth fight to happen. And when it does, you obviously know I got to root for my boy Conor. That's just how it's going to happen. Hopefully, if a fourth fight does happen, whenever that is, because when you look at his ankle, it absolutely and like a 90-degree ankle, and I don't even want to think about it because it cringes me out every time. But so I don't know how long his healing process is going to take, and whenever how long that is, I do wish Conor McGregor, that's my guy. I wish him a speedy recovery. Since I do wish Dustin Poirier the best of luck as well. And that's for Conor McGregor, again, speedy recovery for him. And overall, it was a decent event. I'm just bummed out by the way it ended. But other than that, Mario, the other fights were pretty good too. So I was pretty satisfied with the at the end of the day. It just, to me, it didn't reach the hype that I wanted it to. But hey, at the end of the day, things happen, and that's just life. That's just what happens. There's just some things more important than sport. So with that being said, again, to Conor McGregor, may he have a speedy recovery and best of luck to him. Same thing with Dustin Poirier, best of luck to him and congratulations to him. And that's for everybody else in UFC 264. Congratulations to you guys, and for the losers, again, good luck to you guys and back to the drawing board.